All right, what's going on? This is another episode of First and Framerates. What is this? Episode number 9. And
Yep, think so.
yeah, 9 episodes in, and I do appreciate all the support, even though it's not much. But the ones who do come by and listen to the podcast, I really appreciate it. Just continue to spread the word, and we just try to give out good content. We just try to give out our thoughts and our honest thoughts and our honest opinions about the topics as far as the sports gaming world. And once again, it's my co-host Bills. He is here. Let everybody know what's going on with you, man.
Chilling, man. Just awaiting Friday, like pretty much everybody else at this point.
Yeah, I know. It's like unprecedented. Like one of the first times in like the history of forever that you actually have two legit sports titles going head to head.
Absolutely.
And I mean, even when Live 10 and NBA 2K10 came out, I mean, that's like one of the last times you really had direct competition that was both good products.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, yeah, think about it. That was almost, almost 8 years ago. That was back in 2009.
Yep.
I mean, that's a long time. So, I mean, it is a good time for, that aspect of sports gaming. And, we also have a handful of topics we want to talk about. We're going to talk about some real NFL action. We're going to talk about week 1 and winners and losers. We're going to go over some games that really stood out. And we're actually going to talk about week 2 as well. We're going to talk about what a few games that may stick out to us as far as what to look forward to next week. And we're also going to talk about the Madden post patch. We're going to talk about that because we haven't talked about it once it released because it was in between the episodes. So that's going to be a good topic. But first, since Friday's coming up, we're going to talk about NBA Live and NBA 2K. We're going to talk about the expectations of the sales. I know we talked about this the other day, or the last episode, when we talked about the state of competition. But a lot of things have changed. We had the Prelude come out. We realized that NBA Live actually added teams to the demo. So, yeah, there's a lot of different things as far as competition goes, and knowing what product you may buy, you got a really good taste of what you may get buying these products. So now, my opinion, I think that Live could really go head to head with 2K as far as sales if the right amount of people pick it up. And I'm not just saying that your average Joe picks it up. I'm talking about like some prominent people actually pick it up and actually give it an honest, fair shot.
Right.
What are your thoughts about the expectations overall between the two, as far as the two games?
I mean, obviously 2K is going to blow sales out of the water. That's automatic. I mean, that's never in question. As far as Live, it's going to be interesting. They have been adding some really good updates to the demo. They have added 2 new teams, which is pretty interesting considering Kyrie is the cover athlete. Of course, they had to get the Celtics in there, right? So that was interesting. They also put the Rockets in. I have played the full game because I've been playing on EA Access.
Yeah, I forgot to talk about that. I have it too.
Yeah,
and I started a dynasty with the Bulls, but we're going to dwell into that a little bit later. Go ahead.
Right, but yeah, I mean, as far as the game is concerned and what I expect, I expect them to do pretty well, much better than they have been doing because it's a much better game than they have been releasing in past years. So I think they're going to do well. There's nothing coming up to this release that is a red flag or anything they've really flubbed. They've been doing a pretty good job. They're controlling what they can control, and obviously you're not going to beat 2K in sales this year. Rome wasn't built in one day, so we're just going to wait and see what happens.
Yeah. I kind of feel the same way you feel. I think that the sales head to head, I think 2K is going to once again just run away with it. I mean, you're talking about a brand, not just based on quality. I mean, because there's a lot of games out here that sell based off the name. Just go look at Call of Duty. So the quality itself is not really relevant when we're talking about the sales of the game. But what I said earlier about live getting into the right hands,
Mm-hmm.
you have to have somebody to get this game. And it's not a knock on the NBA Live team, like the guys who are out there, the stream team, or any of those guys who are actually pushing live on Twitter. It's nothing
Right.
against them, but they need a bigger voice. If they get a bigger person to actually put this game out there on their
Mm-hmm.
channels, or if they, really, just the word that nobody really likes to use, if they really like White Knight for NBA Live,
Mm-hmm.
this game could be picked up by a lot of people, because this is not a game that, I put it like this, you don't have to damage control Live 18
Nope.
like people had to damage control 14, 15, and 16. And
Hell.
me, I don't understand why people damage control 15, but you know how I feel about 15. But
Right.
anyway, but you get what I'm saying. When people try to play Live 16, it's more like they like the game based on their own enjoyment, not because of what the game actually has to offer.
Mm-hmm.
Live 18 has a lot to offer, but it's not going to be exposed to a lot of people because of the name. That's why I say if it wants to go far, somebody like that caliber needs to put that out there for people to see how good this game really is.
Yeah, because you have dudes right now that are in the community that I'm pretty sure haven't even played live that are saying Live 18 sucks. You also have people who have played live and are saying Live 18 sucks. I don't know what lack of basketball knowledge you have to say that Live 18 sucks. I don't know if, they're just natural born haters, but there's no metric to indicate that Live 18 sucks as a basketball game.
Oh, I agree. I mean, as far as what we've played, and like you said, you played the full game on EA Access, I have as well. And based on that and the updates that they put, I mean, even without the updates, because we're looking at
Right.
the updates that Live had, I can't say for certain that they were actual gameplay updates. As far as I was concerned, they did updates to add teams.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, but as far as I know, the gameplay has always been solid out the gate.
Right.
I haven't had an issue with it. I think the only issue I really had with Live 18 is if you're playing the My Player aspect, it was like the CPU had rocks for brains. They will bring up the ball and just let it get taken from them
Yeah,
easily.
they want you to score as many points in as many different areas as possible.
Yeah,
That's what I've gotten from that.
Yeah.
But that pretty much is the only issue. I mean, other than that, really good game.
Yeah, I think it's really good. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you ask for my sell expectations, I think 2K will outsell Live. Probably,
absolutely.
I think they'll outsell them probably 3. And it just sounds so bad. Maybe 3, maybe 4-1. And I mean,
I can see that.
Yeah, and it sucks because people don't really follow quality anymore. I mean, people go for visuals and and all the outside. I mean, I'm not talking about the sim community. I'm just talking about people in general. They
Right.
the gamers in general. They just go for the flashy stuff. That's why I said last week in the last podcast that Foot Locker shit, that run the neighborhood shit in 2K, that right there is going to be the main reason a lot of people buy 2K. And that's why I said, as far as head-to-head sales, Live has lost a battle with that as soon as they put that out there. Now, it has nothing to do with basketball. It has nothing to do with on the court, per se. Fundamentally sound, Live could be a better game. But, when, Tommy, the 16-year-old kid who wants to come home from school and buy some shoes out of Foot Locker and act like he's Superman on the basketball court, I mean, that's just the reality of it. That's how a lot of people just gonna perceive it. They'd rather do that than to play an honest game of basketball. And that just goes back to me saying I played the Dynasty mode in NBA Live.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've been playing with the Bulls, and, they had nobody. I mean, honestly, they got Zach LaVine.
Right.
They got, what's that? Chris Dunn.
Yeah.
And they have, Meritic. I mean, I don't think they have anybody that can really take me over the hump. They have some talent, but I don't think they have anything to take me over the hump. And I actually struggled playing against the Washington Wizards. You know, it was a really good game of basketball. I lost 95-100, 10-minute quarters, and it was a really good game of basketball. And for a lot of people who want a dynasty mode, and I haven't dwelled in all the way into the aspects of what the dynasty mode entails. I know it's better than the previous live. They did do some extra things to it. Mm-hmm. If you want a pretty decent dynasty mode and you only gonna play $40 for a game, you got a pretty solid option with NBA Live. Now I know for certain Live franchise the franchise mode cannot touch 2K's franchise mode. It just can't. No. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they got so many intricate stuff into it. It's just ridiculous, but it's not a pushover at the same time. If you ever you want to play a dynasty mode and you spend in $20 less, it's not a bad look. But I'm having fun with it. I played a few games so far in my dynasty mode, and I like it. So
yeah, I mean it's like the thing is 2K has so much, as far as what it does to attract not only the sim gamer but the casuals, like you said.
Yeah, I mean they're ahead of the curve.
Yeah, I mean as far as being photorealistic, it doesn't get any more realistic than 2K this year. And as far as the depth in gameplay, nobody's touching them. I mean, you saw that video I put up of Kevin Durant and his interaction with Steph Curry, and little things like that. I mean, the Live can't compete with that.
Man, I saw an interaction where J.R. Smith and Klay Thompson almost got into a fight.
Right.
Fighting over the ball. And, I mean, Klay Thompson literally pushed him.
And the interesting thing is going to be, now this was practice, but in-game, that might be a technical.
You
might actually have technicals this year.
And now, don't get us wrong. Now, NBA Live do have certain interactions as well, because I was surprised with how some of the people react when you're sizing them up. Mm-hmm. Or when they're fighting for the ball and you see the hand jostling or whatever. It's there in Live, but it's just animations in Live. In 2K, it looks like it's emotion on top of animations.
Oh, definitely.
It looks like they're actually, upset, frustrated. I mean, with Live, it's just okay. Yeah, and Live is like, okay, he reacted to what happened. Which, I don't know if people think that, if that makes sense, but it's cool to trigger an animation in the game compared to, oh shit, they really are going after each other.
Right, I can compare it to, cars. Like you got your Lambo, which is NBA 2K, and then you got your Prius, which is Live. Now 2K has all the bells and whistles. It can get you where you need to go, just like a Prius can, but it has that it factor that makes you want to own a Lambo.
Right.
The Prius, on the other hand, does all the things right. It's nice and fuel efficient. It can get up to 160. It's not gonna burn nobody out of the water. You know what I'm saying? But it gets you where you need to go. It gets you from point A to point B. It doesn't have any major issues. So until Live gets to be that Lambo, they will never be able to sell like 2K sells, because they just don't have that it factor. They don't have the depth. They don't have the things to draw in casuals right now, because they're trying to hone in the gameplay and they've fallen off because of all these years that were wasted. So 2K right now is in the driver's seat, and they're pushing the gap out even further with their gameplay this year. The only issue I saw was that damn morphing.
Yeah, I think even with the animations not really being, they're basically look non-existent. Mm-hmm. I've noticed a lot of morphing with the basketball when you're dribbling.
Yep.
I haven't noticed too much of a player morph, but I've noticed a lot with the basketball. It's like, we thought we got away from this since 2K13. Where is this coming from? So that right there, and I know I saw a couple of videos on Twitter when people were showing where the ball in a crossover would just leave one hand and go straight to the other hand. It's like,
right. So I mean, all these things we can hopefully chalk up to it being an old build, but even then, you still have things where it's not even so much from a basketball sense anymore. It's kind of like from just an eyesore. Like you got heads going through, the other guy's head, and it's just a lot of things that are eyesores.
Just a bunch of technical stuff.
Exactly. And a bunch of stuff that hopefully they ironed out by the time the game comes out. Because look, if they iron that stuff out, there's not really anything else you need to touch. I'm getting live because I'm preparing for 2K to release that yearly patch that ruins the fucking game. And hopefully they don't release it. But if they do, I'll have live, and I know I can depend on the live team to not break their game.
Well, let's be honest. Live has been putting updates in their game since Live 14, and I've yet to find an update or a patch from Live that actually changed the game for the worse. I mean, you look at Live 14, when that game first came out, it was absolutely horrible. At the end of that cycle, they made, 6 different updates? It made the game better, but it was still on the borderline horrible.
Exactly.
Live 15 the same way. It came out the way it did, and they continued to build on it, and that turned out to be a really solid game. Now, I haven't played much of 16, but from what I was told, they kept updating that game as well within, their cycle of that game. So, but every update they did, it didn't pull the game back. It kept going forward from what they have now. So I have no problem with NBA Live putting patches in their game. I think it's all they've proven that they can continue to build the right way.
Absolutely. I mean, if Live keeps heading where they're heading as far as honing in the gameplay, ironing out the issues that you had before, like fast breaks slowing down, speed of passes in the half court. If they add some depth, like, freelance sets the way 2K has it, 2K might have to look over their shoulder and say, well, shit, I mean, this company's over here making a pretty damn good game. I mean, this year might not be the year. 2K is just, they're doing their thing over there.
I think I think that's the problem with, like I was saying last week, as far as the state of competition. Live really shot themselves in the foot with 16.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, a lot of people could go back and say Elite 11, this, that, and the third. 14 didn't help. 15 pushed it a little bit.
Yep.
15 was the game where people be like, okay, I can see them building something. And then when 16 came, you see what I'm saying? It's like nobody really took it serious at that point, because like you were right there to say we can be a decent contender. So when 16, hurt the brand, even worse. I mean,
16.
You just have
the thing about 16 was 16 ended its cycle once again, like Live 14 did, as a pretty decent game. They actually put a lot of things that they didn't have in their release, like layups off the backboard. You barely saw those. By the end of the cycle of 16, it looked pretty decent. But see, it also played better than NBA 2K17 at the end of its release. That game was playing like a horse shit.
Yeah, but see, the thing about with Live though, it digressed so far back. So
I agree.
When the updates came, it was like they're making the gameplay decent. Where compared to Live 14 and 15, when the final updates came in for those games played way better than what it is. They played a lot of catch up with Live 16 just for it to play correctly. That's the big difference, So, like I said, I can see 3, maybe 4 to 1 in sales, because I mean, I don't care what anybody say. If you're outside of the sim community, gameplay don't sell. Nope. I don't care what anybody says. You can't tell me different or whatever the case may be. Gameplay does not sell at all, and it's all about the flash for people. I mean, you can look at Madden, for instance. Madden is selling pretty well, but it ain't. I mean, just be honest, it ain't because of the sim stuff. Yes, sim stuff is being put in the game, but the competition level stuff, the arcade stuff, the tournament stuff, that's the stuff that's pushing Madden, and it sucks. I like the fact that we have a sim mode in Madden 18, but that's not being advertised. That's not being pushed. And I mean, I understand, because that type of stuff, people can't wrap their head around. People can't wrap their head around actually playing sim football. We're in a minority. In with that being said, it sucks because if you're going to play a football game, if you're going to make a football game that looks as good as this game does, it needs to play 100% like that game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how I feel. I mean, if people want to play arcade, if people want to play, they got NFL Street for that stuff. They got NFL Blitz for that. They can play that as far as I'm concerned.
Right. And I mean, I tried to play NBA Live 18 initially, in an arcade type style, just to see if the game was arcade proof, and it is. I think cannot run and gun in that game and do stupid shit like you used to be able to, make it a fast break fest. You can't do that anymore in that game.
No, Live was like that. Live started to slow down with that in Live 10. Because before Live 10, I mean, there was still some aspects in Live 10 like that, but it wasn't as bad as it was prior to Live 10. You can run up and down the court all day. Live made us consistent. They made an effort, and I remember this in NBA Elite 11. They made an effort to slow down the game, and you really saw it in Live 14. They really slowed down the game in 14. As far as playing arcade, one thing I can say about 2K, 2K has done a pretty good job of trying, and hear me out on this. They've been trying to separate the arcade and the sim aspect of each game.
Yep.
When you play like a 5-on-5, a real basketball game in a basketball game arena on like a Play Now on 2K, that game can feel like a real basketball game. Now, when you go on the park, it feels arcadey on the park.
Definitely does.
The problem is when the people from the park start bitching about certain things, and for some reason,
then it makes its way over into
exactly. So for some reason, they cannot patch the game to separate the two. It's like whatever they patch on the park, it happens on the actual basketball, hardwood. And now you be like, why am I playing this game now?
Right.
With it, like I said, with Live, it's like I don't even know if anybody actually complains about it not being arcade. I honestly haven't heard anybody complain saying the game was too fundamentally sound, because the mechanics of the game is there. So, but for the most part, both games do a really good job of trying to leave the arcade stuff out of each other.
Oh yeah.
But it's just that I think 2K really needs to pump their brakes when it comes to actually giving us the those issues when those patches arrive. Anything else you want to add to this topic? Because I got a few more, like we talked about, we got a few more we want to jump into. But like I said, as far as the sell expectations and the quality of the game, I think both games are great. But like I said, I think it's going to be a 3 to 4 to 1 ratio. I mean, I could see, if you want to give whole numbers, I could see 2K probably selling maybe 8, maybe 9 million copies, and I could see Live. Just like I said, if somebody actually put this out there and put the game on display, I could see them selling 2 million, but that's pushing it.
Yeah, I agree.
That's pushing it. So the next topic is basically we're going to talk about week 1 winners and losers. Nah, we'll get back to that. We'll talk about that last. We're going to talk about the Madden post patch. That happened in between of the hurricane and the last episode, and I can't lie to you. I really love this patch that Madden put out. I put the game back on default, all pro. I'm loving the game the way it plays. I put out a couple of videos of how things are going on Twitter. The zones are playing great. Based on the personnel you have. If you talking about the zones are messed up, you need to check your personnel. You may have somebody out there that just can't zone cover very well.
Right.
But the logic is there. What are your thoughts about it?
I like it. I can't give too many impressions only because the prelude came out And I've been playing that more than anything. And I've also been playing EA Access NBA Live, more than Madden. So I can't say that I've gotten a whole bunch of time. But from what I played, I definitely enjoyed it. The Zero Theory seems to not work anymore. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. But, at default, everything seems to be working thus far. And they still have a couple things they need to address as far as the tackling is concerned for users. But, it's a pretty good patch.
I think they could tackle better too. I think so. I think the animations are there. The wrap up tackles are there. Some of the big hits are back in and they look good. But there are times where it's like you should be able to tackle somebody and it's just like the positioning isn't there all the way. And if you do get position, there's some broken tackles that make you scratch your head sometimes.
Exactly, especially in the favor of the computer.
Right, exactly. It's like
they need to get that done.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have much else to say about that. I just think that once again, I think Madden is. I've always liked Madden when it came out the gate as far as Madden 18 goes. Even with the zone issues, we found a way to let them work for us until the patch comes out.
Yep.
And like I said, I'm on it. I have no issue with it. And at the end of the day, I'm just going to continue to play the game.
Oh yeah.
I just recently got my 4K TV that we talked about. Because the other one I had wasn't working, and I didn't want to get it repaired. I just bought another one, and this one has HDR, and it's like the HDR it really shines, and it doesn't hinder the game like I thought it would. I'm actually surprised. So it looks great, and Madden looks great, and 2K, Prelude looks
2K
great.
is gonna look fucking unbelievable.
Yeah, that looks great, and I may finally go ahead and pony up and buy MLB The Show. I've been sleeping on that. I slept on 16, and I think I'm just going to buy 17 and get that out the way because I heard that game looks great too. And there's a couple other games that my last 4K TV was just basic 4K, and I didn't have all the other features that came with it.
Right.
I got the Samsung 4K, and it's golden, man. I love it. So I'm liking that, but I was going to talk about the winners and losers of week 1, but we can leave that last. I want to touch on another topic that's really pretty touchy, and I think it needs to evolve into something bigger. And it's about the social injustice and how everybody is pertaining with the Colin Kaepernick situation, and now you have Michael Bennett, with his situation that happened in Las Vegas. And I think at the end of the day, this is a justified cause for people who need to be knowing in the country, knowing about what's going on in the country and bringing awareness. But I think that we are spinning our wheels at this point because this is a new season. And the new season, week 1, I was watching some of the pregame shows, and I'm not going to say the majority of it, but they put a big emphasis on this topic, the whole police brutality situation, and why Kaepernick's not on a team, and how Michael Bennett is. And I've heard someone said that Michael Bennett wasn't playing well because he's still shooken up about the situation, and that's when I had to sit back and think, and I was like, well, it is. I can't say how people should feel about certain things, and maybe so he is feeling that way. That maybe that's why he's not playing. Well, he quote unquote didn't play well, but for somebody else to come out and say that, I feel that that's a stretch to continue to push that narrative. And for me, I feel like I said, we're spinning our wheels when it comes to talking about this situation because of the simple fact that we're talking to the wrong crowd. I want to know what your thoughts about that before I branch off into that.
Obviously people don't want to turn on Sunday football and hear about this stuff. There's definitely a place to talk about it. I think it needs to be talked about on a consistent basis because we can't forget about things that are happening outside of football.
That is true.
At the same time, I can't understand if somebody is feeling some type of way about turning over and you want to hear all about football and they're talking about something that goes beyond football. As far as the topic itself of, racism and, prejudice and all that stuff, I mean, it's pretty clear to me that this whole situation, and the more people speak on it, it just reveals their true colors.
Oh, now that's a different subject. We can really get into it at a later time, but I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm for talking about it. There's just a place and time to do it that I think we're missing.
Yeah, I think that's the point that everybody's missing. It's not that the fact that it shouldn't be talked about, but when I say we're spinning our wheels in it, you're talking to a demographic of people who may not really understand what the message is, and it's not their fault. You're dealing with people who work 40, 50, 60, sometimes 70 hours a week. They put their money up to come to these games, or put their money up to set up their man cave or set up their living room to watch football. Yep. And, they're not really in tune with what goes on outside of football because they have their own lives. Right. And when they look at this and they be like, oh, this Kaepernick thing is still going on, or that, and I'm not saying it to be, downgraded, but this is what the average person would, they think. The average person that works every week, every day out the week, and they're like, oh, this is still going on, and oh, this Michael Bennett thing happened too, and they're still trying to tell us that there's social injustice. You're talking to the wrong people. And me personally, I feel like if you want anything done, it's time to take it to another level. I think it's time to try to get, real prominent people in America involved, people who can make a difference. Just try to get some reform where law enforcement can possibly be held to, not necessarily held to a higher standard, but held more accountable for their actions. Because when something happens, they quick to hide behind the shield or the wall of blue. And, I was in law enforcement. That's what we used to call it. We used to hide behind the wall of blue, where the fact that we're trying to keep people safe, quote unquote, keep people safe, is the reason why this, and this happens. And you have over 19,000 different police departments in the country. There are going to be some bad apples in those police departments that do fucked up shit. I mean, we're at the end of the day, even though they wear a uniform, they're human, and I can't say it enough. I've worked with some of those people, So I look at it from a different perspective. I can't just look at it and say all cops are this, all cops are that, because there's some people who work with me side by side in law enforcement that literally saved my life. There's people that I know that have saved other people. Damn good people in the field. But you have those ones who fuck everything up. And now it's like we need something to combat that. And with people continuously kneeling for the flag, people are continuously, putting their fists up when the flag is being, when the anthem is being, sung, or when the anthem is
being sung. I think those things still need to be done.
No, I think they need to be done, but I want you to understand at the same time, the average person who just wants to watch football, they don't see it like that. And when you try to tell, I'm being honest, they just don't. And when you try to explain it to them, for 9 times out of 10, it's going to go one ear and out the other, because they don't understand. The average person, and then when they do finally understand, it's going to be like, well, such and such as this, such as that. And it goes back to what I was saying prior to us doing the podcast. It divides people more than it brings people together. And it needs this topic, more than anything, needs to bring people together to get that type of change in law enforcement. But at the same time, we can't just be talking amongst one another to get it done. It needs to be a situation where somebody that has clout, needs to bring it to the attention. And I'm not saying Colin don't have clout, but he can only go so far with the message. I mean, a lot of people are saying that, people need to run with the message after he's brought it to our attention. But the problem is, you don't have that person to run with that message. And we need that, because we need that type of reform where not only that the wall of blue can just save these police officers, they need to be held accountable, and that's what I was saying. And it's like, with the social injustice being brought to the forefront, it needs to be brought to the forefront to, like I said, to people who can make a difference. Because if we're talking amongst each other, you're talking to a group of people who just want to watch football. And and that's why I say, at the end of the day, we're spinning our wheels. So that's how I feel about it. I'm not saying it don't need to be done. I'm not saying it needs to stop. It's gotten to the point where when I watch week 1 and you're trying to tell us about it, it just seems like it's going to be a cycle. Every week we're going to be talking to the same people about it, who half of them are reluctant to it in the first place, that they don't even want to watch football anymore. And you have the other half that want to do something, but they're looking for somebody to do it.
I mean, I think another reason people may not want to watch football is because you have a situation with Roger Goodell that we talked about last week, where
Jesus Christ,
he's just a piece of shit, yo. And even if you're not a Cowboys fan, you have to realize what this dude is doing. But
you know what, though? Even outside of that domestic violence situation and how he's sending out punishment to players, the way that he's doing it, I don't necessarily agree with how it's done. He's that guy. He's that guy that could, and I ain't gonna say he's that guy. He's one of the people who can carry what Colin Kaepernick's trying to say. They can easily endorse or trying to bring everybody together to stand up against this. And if he wants to create an image to save his image, it would be this topic for him to say, you know what? I don't agree with him 100%. It's not up to me to say he should be in the league or not. But for him to have but for him to talk about human beings getting gunned down by law enforcement on a very high, level, especially African Americans, on a very high level, needs to be addressed. And if he would speak out against it, I think that not only politicians, but people who are behind the scenes who have a lot of clout can actually latch onto the situation, because now it's like the NFL is endorsing the situation. For them to be silent about it is not really helping their cause. Now,
I think we need more so a prominent player, like an Aaron Rodgers or a Tom Brady. We don't need Roger Goodell. Like, it wouldn't. It would be clear that it wasn't legit. You know what I'm saying?
Even if it's not legit, if he can pass the torch to somebody who can be legit.
Yeah, but even if he passed the torch, it would be inauthentic. So you need somebody like a Tom Brady or an Aaron Rodgers to take that torch, I think.
I can't say it won't be inauthentic, because now we're starting to question the person who he passed the torch to.
We're not questioning the person he passed the torch to. We're questioning the person that passed the torch in the first place.
No. I totally agree. But his name itself, him being the NFL commissioner, coming out to say, something needs to change, it's enough for somebody to listen. Now, the fact that he means it or not, he can kick rocks for all I care. It's just the fact that now we got it in the hands of somebody who can make a difference. And once that happens, I can give two shits about what he says about it at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, that's what I'm saying. No, and like you said, with Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, or, hell, you even had the last two MVPs of the NFL, Cam Newton, Matt Ryan. These guys have names. They have big names now. They can say something because they were the MVPs of the league. Yep. You actually Von Miller, or the people who are actually the people who are actually standing up to say something about it, I'm not saying that they're not prominent. It's just that when they do say something, people look at them. They look at a Colin Kaepernick. Okay, Colin, you're not in the NFL. We really can't relate. I mean, we know what you did 3-4 years ago, but we can't really relate to you because we don't see you all the time. Michael Bennett, yeah, you're a pretty good defensive end, but you're not one of the big names that people think about when the Seattle Seahawks name is being spoken. Yeah, you're there, but when you think of, Seattle Seahawks, Russell Wilson, Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas. Oh yeah, and then there's Michael Bennett. You kind of see what I'm saying? But when you think of the Packers, Aaron Rodgers. You think of the Patriots, Tom Brady. Hell, you think of the Panthers or the Falcons, Cam Newton, Matt Ryan. You could put Julio Jones there. That's another one. You could think of him off the top. But it has to be somebody of that caliber. And like I said, even with Roger Goodell, he could be one of them because he holds the title of NFL commissioner. What with him, does he have the credibility? No, he doesn't. But the fact that he's the commissioner, now somebody can say, hey, why the NFL commissioner actually feel this way? Let's go talk to him and see what yada, yada, yada. And all of a sudden, hey, we're down with this too. And the torch is passed to, let's say, I can't say Michael Eric Dyson because he has a platform that he could really do it. He just talked to the wrong people. But, it could go to somebody of that type of conscience to really put it out there. So, I think that's what needs to be done. Because if they don't get to the point where they can talk to somebody that can get the wheel spinning in a forward direction, every pregame show, every, national anthem being heard or being sung, you're going to have just, this person didn't stand, or this side of police brutality is happening again. Another black person being gunned down or being treated wrong while being handcuffed. And you know what's going to happen after that? Okay, the game is about to start. Nothing's being fucking done. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Is like everybody's going to continue to be in that cycle of frustration and be mad because Cap didn't get a job, or Michael Bennett had a gun in his face, and why is this kid getting shot down? But as soon as kickoff come, nobody cares no more. That's the part that really sucks because it has to be taken outside of the sport. And it has to be taken outside of the sport where something can be done. Because outside of that, like I say, you're just gonna have that cycle. So, I don't have anything else to add to that. I just think I hope a lot of people really understand where we're coming from with that, and not to take it to say that people shouldn't, everybody should stand for the anthem, or people. I don't agree with that because, let's be honest, Bill. Every goddamn person who watched, the football on their TV, not a damn soul at their home is standing up for the national anthem when it's being played on TV. I know I'm not. I'm not.
Well, I went to a couple of basketball games last year, and I got all kind of looks, and I didn't give a fuck. I was like, as a black dude, as a black man in this country, I'm not standing for the national anthem. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's something, and you have a right, and you're entitled to that right, and I don't have a problem with that. Now, me personally, I disagree with that, but I'm not going to knock you for it because you feel a certain way about the country, and clearly, even though we agree on a lot of stuff, and in the things that we disagree, we continue to be cordial and understand our points of view.
Of course.
I just came up different. I came up from a military background. I came from, I went to school for law enforcement, so I look at law enforcement totally different than the average person. And I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm not saying that anybody's wrong because like I said, even though I worked on that side of the law, I've seen fucked up cops. I've had to stop fucked up people in law enforcement who were treating people of my color the wrong way. But at the same time, I've seen those, not the same officer. I've seen the different race, the white, law enforcement agent or the white cop actually save lives of minorities. So I mean, I've seen both sides, and I can't just be condemning. You know, that's just me. I mean, because it's just look. I work outside of the prison. I work inside of the prison, and I can tell you so many stories about what people that had the badge on done, good and bad. I have some horrific stories about some fucked up racist shit that somebody did and the shit that they had coming to them. And I can tell you the flip side where, you know, I can say in one instance it's the same racist ass, you know, officer damn near risk his life for minorities. And it happens. You know, so like I said, we just look at it different, but I don't knock you at all for feeling the way you feel. But I guess that's what makes First and Framerates fun, right?
Exactly.
Well, anyway, that was a pretty good topic to cover. Like I said, I hope everybody understands where we're coming from. The last topic of the day, we're going to talk about Week 1 winners and losers. I have all the scores from the past week of football, and we could go into Week 2 and what we thought. I actually thought about adding college into it, but the college season is so early, it's not much to talk about, in my opinion.
Right. Well, shit. I know what we could talk about. Let's talk about this for a second. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
If there are any Ohio State fans right now, you might want to turn this video off.
Oh, God.
Okay. I'm sorry. Y'all face the weakest fucking non-conference schedule I've ever seen, year in and year out. Yet every year they come in talking about, yeah, OSU, we gonna do this, we gonna do that. Y'all just got y'all's asses kicked by Oklahoma.
Man, let me tell you something. Baker Mayfield is nice.
Baker Mayfield is the man.
That man keeps that shit up. He can be a top 3, you know, pick in next year's draft. No joke. Yeah. Because it's not like he scrambles. He just moves very well, and he can sling the football.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like, man, like you said, man, Ohio State, to me, they look like a bunch of bullshit, because even the week before, I mean, who they play, like Indiana or something like that? They played somebody.
They face weak-ass non-conference schedules every single year.
But not only that, the defense was horrible against that lower-ranked team, that lower-tier team last week.
Right. It's like the only competition y'all face year in and year out is Michigan State. Every time y'all face somebody outside of y'all's conference that's ranked in the top 25, you usually get your ass kicked.
Man, you're playing around, man. Michigan might, not even Michigan State.
And Michigan too, yeah.
Michigan might bust their ass this year, like no joke.
I hope they do. Because
I'm tired. Michigan looks good.
I'm tired of hearing about OSU. I'm really tired. It's no knock against the players. The players are really good. But what it comes down to is, I'm tired of these goddamn fans hyping up. Like, that's like if the Patriots every year went 14-2, 15-1, facing fucking, you know, Miami, the Jets, and I'm sitting there like, yeah, we 14-2 again. It's like, who gives a fuck? We're not facing anybody. You know what I'm saying? OSU comes out and faces fucking Fitchburg State, and people are acting like, oh my god, they kicked their ass. It's like, give me a fucking break, man.
No, hey, if you want to take anything out of the college game, that game right there stood out. Now, also, I thought the Georgia Notre Dame game was really good.
I missed that when I was at work.
Yeah, that was a good game. I think they won 20-19 or something like that. It was a really good game. But other than that, everything else was just par for the course. I saw Western Kentucky play USC. West Kentucky played very well, but it's still too early in the season to really say, oh, look out for this, look out for that.
Well, I think Josh Rosen is either the best or the second best quarterback in the nation right now.
Yeah, Rosen looks good. Mayfield looks good. I can't say Lamar Jackson because I don't think he's a quarterback. I think he's an athlete playing quarterback. But he put up some big numbers against North Carolina. I think he threw for like 348 and ran for like another 160. I mean, he did. Right. He did really good. But he's one of those guys that looks nice now, but you we know damn well that shit's not going to translate in the NFL. It's just not.
Well, he's really I mean, his reads aren't that bad. Obviously, he's in a system that fits him, but he makes pretty good reads. He doesn't throw games away.
Oh, I agree.
He's pretty damn accurate, man.
Yeah, and he's very accurate for the scrambling quarterback. He's really accurate. I will say that. And but it's just, to me, it's just something about him that just says that may not translate. But like I said, it's still early.
Right.
He won the Heisman last year.
He's a sophomore, so
yeah, exactly. So I really can't say. I mean, by the time, if he plays another year, whatever the case may be, I mean, a lot of that stuff can be tuned up. Just like I was saying about Deshaun Watson, and me and you really went back and forth about this. I didn't think he was ready until the end of the season, the end of college football.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the beginning, I was like, Deshaun is nice, but it's like he needs a little bit more tuning. But when he started playing against Alabama and see what he did in that game, even a year before, what he did then, it was like, okay, I could see where Bill's saying that he's ready, but I need to see a little bit more. But by then, I was like, I couldn't even come back and say I apologize. I just shut the hell up because he proved it on the field, and like.
Yeah, I mean, he was one of those guys, kind of like Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, like Russell Wilson. You know, a lot of people talked about his size, and they talked about, well, he's not the most accurate quarterback, and he plays. He's been to 3 schools and all this bullshit, and then he finally got to the NFL, and you saw just how poised he was. How accurate he actually was, contrary to, these scouts that think they know shit when they don't, like Mel Kiper. And Deshaun Watson, I think, will be the same way because, it showed on Sunday.
Yeah. I mean,
he has the poise to start in the NFL. Now, obviously, my boy Tom Savage, I don't know what was going on with him.
Oh my goodness, I don't know if he just needs. You know what, Tom Savage I think he'll be good if he just went to Arizona.
Yeah,
I think that'd be a good fit for him because I think he needs a change of scenery. He's not a bad quarterback. It's just that I think the time at the Texans is about up, and it didn't help when they did get Deshaun Watson. That kind of probably set him back a little bit.
Yeah, I think his confidence is gone. Even though they have him starting, it's whenever you're a starting quarterback,
and you see somebody move up that high,
exactly. To pick a guy.
Right, and I mean, you can see the flip side of that with Alex Smith, but it's like Alex Smith has been in the league for 11, 12 years. He's built for that. I mean, it happened to him when Colin Kaepernick came behind his back, and it happened, and, it's happening now with Pat Mahomes. It's like, well, he's used to it. Tom Savage is not used to that, so it could have damaged his confidence a little bit. So, like I said, they could just do a straight up trade, get like a 4th, 5th round pick. Get Tom Savage over there to Arizona because, god damn it, that boy Carson Palmer is terrible. Good Lord,
man, that dude, Carson Palmer is the bad example of a gunslinger. If the good example is Matt Stafford, he's the bad example. He's like 93 Brett Favre bad. as far as being a gunslinger, I mean that man needs to hang it up, yo.
Okay, so we could branch that on to the winners and losers of Week 1. Arizona did lose to Detroit. I'm not going to say that they're one of the losers of Week 1. I think they just lost their game. We already knew that Carson Palmer wasn't about that life, so
right.
we kind of knew that. You want to go with winners or losers first? I'm gonna name a couple of games and we'll just go from there.
We can go losers first.
All right, we're gonna go with losers. Indianapolis Colts played the Rams 46-9. What do you think of that? I mean, I don't think there's nothing winning about that.
I mean, if I was the Colts, I wouldn't put Andrew Luck out there for not one game this season. I would just have him stay on the bench, man.
Do you think he's the reason why they only scored 9 points? Or you just think the team in general is just that bad?
Team in general is garbage, and if he goes out there, all he's going to do is get hurt again.
Yeah,
That's
what
why
I'm
I
about to
wouldn't
say.
put him on the field.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was like, yeah, you let the Rams hang up 46 on you. I don't think that's good Rams. I think that's just bad Colts. But I will say a winner out of that game is Jared Goff. He
Hell
did
yeah.
play really good. He
I agree.
really turned it around for last year. So I'll say he's a winner in week 1. He
Yep.
definitely is. So,
and also, the Rams as a defense without Aaron Donald, winners.
Absolutely.
So, I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I totally agree with that. Let's see. Where is it? Scott Tolzien. 9 of 18, 128, 2 picks, 4 sacks. Yeah, okay. Let me look at
Jacoby Brissett came in and threw a touchdown, and then, by then it was too much to bear.
No, he didn't throw a touchdown.
I thought he did.
No, it was 2 or 3 for 51 yards.
Oh, I thought he
anyway,
threw a touchdown.
No, it would have been nice, but they only got 9 points. They only got 9 points, man. It was 3 field goals for them. Now, Jared Goff, like I said, he's the winner, man. 21 of 29, 306 and 1 touchdown. That's not bad compared to what he was last year.
Yeah, because I know Indy's defense is garbage, but still.
Yeah, but still, you let him hang 300 on you. I mean, that's pretty bad, you know.
I'll tell you what, Sammy Watkins always helps.
that helps too. That helps too. So let's look at where's the other scores? I went too far back. All right, let's see. What game actually stands out real quick? We're still doing losers, right?
Yep.
All right, losers. Dallas versus New York, 19-3.
Losers, Brandon Marshall.
Absolutely.
Where were you at?
And you can't blame that on Odell because, I mean, he's what, 6'4", 220?
Right.
6'4", 219, 1 catch for 10 yards. There you go.
1 catch for 10 yards against a Dallas secondary in which, even if you were facing Orlando Scandrick, on the off chance that he wasn't guarding you on that play, you're telling me you can't get open against that Dallas secondary?
The secondary has improved, but they're not to the point where you can hold him to 10 yards.
Hell no.
You know, I mean, I can see them disrupting a little bit or whatever, but he's not holding Brandon Marshall down to 10 yards. That's just not happening. So
no.
Definitely the Giants, if you want to look at the Giants, definitely he's the loser. And you want to add on to that, the offensive line is also, they're losers. Eli Manning got sacked 3 times. Perkins ran 7 rushes for 16 yards.
We have another loser. We have another loser offensive line coming up too.
Oh yeah, we're going to get in that. We're going to get in that because I think I know what team you're looking at. Matter of fact, what winner can you pull out of this team? Because I can't pull out a winner for the Dallas. Only put up 19 points. I don't see nothing to hang their hat on. They did get a W. I'll be honest, they got a W. I mean, if it's worth anything.
No, I mean, you can't really say the offensive line. We expect that from them.
Yeah, but even with that, Elliott ran for 104, which is, it's 104, but you expect Elliott to get at least 150.
Right. It's like the expectations are so high for him at this point.
Right. So I can't say he's a winner or a loser. A loser on the Dallas Cowboys, you could say Dez Bryant. He was non-existent. He let Terrence Williams outplay him. Terrence Williams
and Cole Beasley.
Yeah, and Cole Beasley. I agree. So it's like, Dez, what are you doing? Dez is getting to the point, and I heard this on First Take because I listen to the podcast every now and then. Stephen A. even said that there can be some legitimacy to saying that Dez Bryant is not an elite receiver right now.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers indicate such.
Yeah, I mean, just based on numbers. I'm not saying based on presence and actual athletic ability and talent. I'm just talking about numbers. It's like, you're not putting up Julio, Antonio Brown. Hell, you're not even putting up Larry Fitzgerald numbers right now.
No.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like,
or DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins is another one. So you can make that case numbers wise. So, and by the way, the longest run rushing wise for the New York Giants was 12 yards by on Darkwa, the running back for the Giants.
And
it was
know who the hell
exactly. It was a long of 12 yards. But let me tell you, his final stat was 3 carries for 14 yards.
Man.
3 carries for 14 yards, and his longest run was 12. So that offensive line is definitely a loser. I'm going to add Des Bryant to that because he's better than what he is.
And Brandon Marshall.
And Brandon Marshall, absolutely. Let's go with one more loser. And you talked about an offensive line. Well, we're gonna go with 2 more losers because I gotta stick it to a particular team. But like you said, let's talk about the Seattle and Green Bay. Please tell me that's the team that you were talking about as far as offensive line.
You hit the nail right in the head, bro.
And that's why we do the show.
They are every bit as bad as I thought they were.
Man, that offensive line is terrible, and I thought they did something when they got. Well, no, I didn't say they did better because they traded one of their best offensive linemen away for Jimmy Graham, and that didn't do anything for him.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, no, I totally get it. Let's look at these stats right here. You say the offensive line is a bunch of losers. Let's look at the Russell Wilson. He got sacked 3 times.
By Green Bay. Now, granted, I'm not taking shots at Green Bay, but I'm sorry. Green Bay hasn't had a pass rush in some time now.
Oh, let's see. When the last time they actually had? I remember KGB.
2010.
I remember when KGB played for him.
Oh my!
You know, KGB was there, so that was good.
Man, they haven't. Like that line is so bad.
Who else was there? Oh man, who was?
Nick Barnett.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, he was there, but it's like they really haven't had a pass rush for a while. And I mean, exactly. Peppers was there,
right?
But Peppers wasn't. He wasn't Carolina Peppers.
No, and they were double teaming him still.
Right. So I mean, he got sacked 3 times. Russell Wilson was the leading rusher with 40 yards. The running back they had, he ran Carson. He ran 6 times for 39 yards. And hey, let's stop right there. 6 carries for 39 yards, and his longest run was 30 yards.
Oh God!
So they weren't really moving the ball at all. And Eddie Lacy, that's a loser for real.
Oh no, he's like. He's not even loser of this game. He's like loser of the year. How you go and get in tip-top shape and still manage to lose your job with that dude who was supposed to compete with you? He's injured.
5 carries, 3 yards.
Oh my God. They made Green Bay look like fucking 85 Bears.
Listen to this. 5 carries for 3 yards, and his longest run was 6. How did that happen?
So you're telling me basically every other rush he had was a loss?
Oh. Yeah, outside of his longest run of 6. Oh my God!
You know what this goes to though? This goes to what people talked about this weekend. Not only with all of the talk about police brutality, but it was just a bad week of football.
No, on top of that, it was, and obviously the winner of this game was Aaron Rodgers. He did throw a lot. He threw 48 attempts. That's high.
That dude thrown to Jordy Nelson though.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. Beautiful throws and all that. But even though the fact that Todd Montgomery had 19 rushes,
he was balling.
He needs to change his number. Running back number 88 just looks terrible.
Yeah, it's still weird. It's like high school or some shit.
Yeah, he needs to change that. But he threw 42 times, 28 of 42, 311, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was sacked 4 times, which is actually surprising, but okay. I didn't expect. I mean, no, seriously, Aaron Rodgers rarely gets sacked outside of him. If he's scrambling and get hit, but even then he gets hit, but he's gained yards. But
the reason I'm laughing is because these 2 teams are like the prohibited favorites for the NFC this year, aside from the Falcons, and they have 2 of the worst offensive lines we've seen in some time.
No joke. I was like, it's pretty bad.
Green Bay is supposed to be a shoo-in to the NFC Championship this year.
Yeah, based on all these other teams. No lie.
Right. I mean, it's like Jesus.
So we sorted that out. Now I want to say one more loser for me. Absolutely, the San Francisco 49ers. And BB, I love you. I know that's your team or whatever, but I'm so glad that bullshit-ass offensive coordinator, Kyle Shanahan, who basically cost us the damn Super Bowl with that sorry-ass play calling, got ramrodded by the Carolina Panthers 23-3. They could do nothing. Absolute loser, in my personal pick, loser of the week.
I mean, yeah, definitely loser of the week. But we got a couple more teams left. You want to talk about horrible teams that are tanking? San Francisco's one, and the other one, the fucking New York Jets.
Oh my God, the Jets. Oh, hold on, let me look. Let me see what they did. I know they lost their game.
Jets are a dumpster fire.
They lost 12. They lost 12-21 to Buffalo.
They gave up 21 points to Buffalo, who just traded their number one receiver and their number two receiver. People.
Let me. I mean, like, I'm not saying that. I understand that they're losers for other reasons, but they gave up 21 points to Buffalo, and I'm like,
bruh,
they're going to give up those points regardless.
They were going to give up the points. I mean,
that's the way I look at it. I mean, now, if they did what Indianapolis did, you know, that's the kind of game. That's the kind of game I kind of expect for the Jets because they're that bad. But for them,
Indianapolis is losing team of the week. They're the losers of the week as far as the team is concerned. Oh, yeah. Kyle Shanahan, as far as the individual, is loser of the week, and Eddie Lacy is creeping up on him for first place.
Them two are like neck and neck.
Those two are like neck and neck. But the Jets, people who don't think they're tanking.
Oh, I believe that, but just to give up 21 points to Buffalo is like, it's 21 points. Now, if they score like 35 or 40, then I can see where you're going at.
Yeah, but the reason I'm predicting them to be losers of the year is because what they're going to do is they're going to tank, but they're going to be just good enough to win enough games to not get the first pick. Which is why they're going to be typical Jets fans' luck. That's just the luck of the draw.
I can totally believe that, and it's like, yeah, this was a dumpster fire for a game. I didn't even pay attention to it.
Yeah.
On the bright note,
on TV, I'm like, we could be watching Tony Romo call out every play that team's gonna run.
That deserves winner right there. He did a great job of that. That was nice.
Is it too early to already call him the number one color commentator?
Well,
in football early on. As far as
I would say
besides John Gruden.
I would say it's too early because I need to see if he can do it against other teams. But I will say this: that motherfucker's way better than Phil Simms' bum ass. I'll say that. I can't stand that dude. I can't stand Phil Simms. As soon as I found out he was gone, I was happy as hell. That dude, he can kick rock. Well, it's a trick play because they do a lot of trickery. They do a trick play to confuse the whole defense. Well, what the fuck? What do you think? It's a trick play. That's what it is.
Yeah, for the people watching, this has been like an ongoing hatred.
Oh, it's been going on for at least 2-3 years. I can't stand that. He was the worst, man. See, Chris Collinsworth is bad, but he's bad because he tried to say he just has these certain sayings that just sounds.
His voice.
That's the greatest catch I saw. Wow. It's like he just sounds so corny with his little cliche lines. Phil Simms,
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, exactly. I can't help it. He's just the greatest thrower of the football, and I wish he was my quarterback.
Everything is hyperbole with him.
No joke. No joke. And it's like with Phil Simms, and the thing about it, Phil Simms, I know he's smarter than what he's saying. He just sounds so stupid when he's on the mic. It's like, oh my God, please.
I wonder if he tries to dumb down his commentary so, like, casual fans will, like, understand some of the shit he's saying. And then he turns out to say dumb shit.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that's the case. I'm
Because,
I'm
because
just
I
going to
mean,
concede and say
the
that.
man knows his football.
Yeah, he's no dummy, but that's what makes it worse. But
Yeah,
I'll just concede and say that's what it is. It's just the fact that he's just trying to dumb down the audience and make everybody feel good.
because
I'll live with
Troy
that.
Aikman does it too, and a lot of people don't like Troy Aikman and Joe Buck as a team. I don't have a problem with them as long as the damn Cowboys ain't playing
Yeah,
or the Packers.
man, I just wish we can get Pat Summerall and John Madden back.
Yeah, John
Oh,
Madden's pretty good.
we can get Al Michaels and John Madden back. They were great.
Why can't we just get John Gruden on Sundays instead of Mondays?
Yeah, that would be nice. But
John Gruden's the man. Well, he's like the man.
He
Yeah.
works for ESPN, and
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
So winners and losers. I think we done with that.
Oh no.
What you got?
No. The last loser of this week, the New England Patriots.
Okay.
My New England Patriots.
I am kind of surprised at the way they played, and I'm so mad at this game, and I'll tell you why once you finish.
Stephon Gilmore and Eric Rowe have to be two of the corners that, they have to be two of the worst corners I've ever seen in zone.
Yeah, they play pretty bad. They played like Madden pre-patch.
I'm pretty sure if I got a group of kids to play Pop Warner and taught them cover 3, they would have more awareness of people running through their zones than Eric Rowe and Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah.
And to make it even worse, we had to throw this big fucking pep rally and have that racist Mark Wahlberg's bitch ass out there.
Yeah. You out there trolling my team too, man. But that's okay.
Right. Yo,
that's okay.
28-3, and then you got your ass kicked. So
you know what? Let me tell you something. I know that's your team, and I loved it because somebody posted this to me on Twitter. 28-3, right? In the third quarter of the Kansas City game, Kansas City went on a 28-3 run to beat the New England Patriots. Now, I just thought that was beautiful.
That's how biased the internet is. You don't see gifs about that shit.
No.
Memes about that shit. No.
No, but I thought it was beautiful when I saw it. I was like, you got to be kidding me. And I looked back, it sure was. It was a 28-3 run. But what I took from this game, and I do agree, New England, they deserve to be a big-time loser for this because they should have won this game if they was a little bit more focused. Because they had this game early. This game could have ran away. This game could have been out of Kansas City hands early. Mm-hmm. But what I took from this game, what pissed me off, Kansas City did something that the Falcons did not do in the Super Bowl. The motherfuckers ran the ball. They ran the ball when they got the lead, and it got them the victory. You got two good running backs over in Atlanta. At least they're good. You could have ran the ball to the point where you at least chewed the clock, even if you didn't get that much. You could have done, and it worked. It worked for the Kansas City. So that's what I took from it. So I would say that from that game, New England does take an L for that, and I would say Atlanta took an L for that for not following the playbook that Kansas City did. But I will say that the tight end for Atlanta, definitely a winner. Austin Hooper. I don't know if you saw that play.
I've always liked Austin Hooper, and him stiff-arming somebody into the ground just made it even better.
Oh, man, that was great. That was great. I jumped out of my seat, and I thought that we was going to collapse again because I thought we was going to lose that game when Brooks Reed came with the sack at the end of the game. But I cannot take nothing away from Chicago. If you want to give a consolation prize to any team for being a winner, Chicago, that team's coming, man. That team, they got some good running backs.
And a damn good quarterback that seemed like the only person on Twitter that was like, yeah, they should have traded up for him. No, Mitchell Trubisky sucks. Okay.
That team looks really good. And I'm going to be honest with you, if Green Bay don't get the offensive line together, they're going to have problems with Chicago because that front seven of Chicago is pretty good. They held Devontae Freeman to like 10, 15. Let me look and find out. They held our running game like pretty stiff. That front seven is nice, and I give a mad respect. Oh yeah, now I'm getting.
Don't let him get a big time target of any kind.
Yeah, exactly. Let me see. Where is it? Okay, let's look at these stats real quick before we jump on to one more topic. Devontae Freeman, 12 rushes for 37 yards.
Mm.
That front seven is really nice. Now Matt did throw for 321, one touchdown, 21 to 30. That's some damn good numbers. But
Yep.
that running game, and now on top of that, the running game was non-existent for us. And you got these two running backs for Chicago, Tariq Cohen and Jordan Howard, consolation prize all the way. These guys are coming. I could see them at least winning I could see them winning maybe 8 or 9 games, possibly more.
I could see him getting a wild card based on how much of a fishbowl the NFC is.
Yeah, I mean they played very well. So I mean I'm with you there. So once again, winners and losers. I can't say the Falcons are winners because of the way they played. They didn't play bad, but I expected more out of them. The defense can't tackle worth the damn. They did a very poor job of tackling these running backs, and I know Desmond Trufant came back from a torn pectoral muscle, but he didn't look like himself. He didn't cover very well, but they got away with it. They got away with it. They got to win. They got to play Green Bay next week, and we're going to see what happens there. Speaking of next week, we're going to pick a couple games that we may think that it may interest us, and we're going to pick a game that may surprise people. I'm going to pick 2 games that surprise. I mean that actually I'm looking into, and one game that may surprise. But I don't know if you have the schedule in front of you. If
Yep,
not,
I got it up.
Okay, you got it up. Great. So I'm gonna let you go first once again. What are a couple games that you're looking forward to, and what game that may surprise you?
The Titans and the Jaguars.
Yes, that
Titans
was
and
one
the
of mine.
Jaguars. You're probably looking at the 2 teams that are going to be vying for that division title this year. That's going to be a good matchup early on. Also, the Eagles and the Chiefs.
Yeah, those 2 good ones, very good ones.
Yep.
Those are 2 that are that you can be looking into. Very interesting games. And if you look at the rest of the league, what game that may surprise a lot of people in your opinion?
The Bears and the Bucks.
Man, that is another good one.
I mean, Chicago
just
for the
played
first week for damn sure.
Yeah, Chicago played very well, and Tampa Bay has a good not a good defense. They have a pretty good team. So I wouldn't be surprised if Tampa Bay can't stop that 2-headed monster out the backfield. That could be an issue for Tampa Bay, because what that does, that keeps the offense off the field, and if the offense is not on the field, those weapons are irrelevant. So yeah, definitely. For me, I'm gonna look right here. I haven't picked any out of the way. I am looking at I could say Philadelphia, Kansas City as well. Both teams do look good. I'm looking forward to that one. I think that was going to be interesting. Another game, let's say Washington. No, not Washington, LA, because Washington ain't play worth a damn. Dallas and Denver. I do like that one. That's one gonna be looking forward to, because they're playing in Denver. Denver has a pretty stout defense. You're going up against a pretty decent running game with Dallas, and all bets are off on the flip side of that. You don't know what Denver's offense is going to do against Dallas defense.
Right.
So that one is interesting to me. The game that I think that's going to surprise a lot of people is the Cleveland-Baltimore game. I would not be surprised if Cleveland wins that game.
I wouldn't either.
I say that because Cleveland played Pittsburgh very well last week.
Kaiser's looking pretty good.
Yeah, he is. I mean, it was a 21-19 or 21-18 game against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has a pretty good team overall, and Cleveland was able to hold them down to only 21 points. And not only that, Cleveland was able to get in there to have the game close. Yep. So with them going to play Baltimore, I don't see nothing on Baltimore's end that can honestly stop Cleveland to the point where they can be shut down. I mean, you have one of our favorite running backs, Isaiah Crowell, still running the ball for them. You know,
and don't let them start getting that. Don't let them start getting that pass rush going.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Cleveland has a pretty good defense as well. Even though they got rid of Joe Hayden, the defense still played very well. Like I said, they held Pittsburgh down. So
Jabril Peppers is a game changer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So like I said, That's the game that may surprise a lot of people, but for me, the games that interest me, Dallas and Denver, and we both also picked Philadelphia and Kansas City, and you picked the Tennessee-Jacksonville game, which that was a game that could closely, I could say that could surprise a lot of people, because I would not be surprised if Jacksonville beat Tennessee.
It's funny. All of those things that people were saying about Blake Bortles, which were, rightfully so, he did deserve a lot of criticism for how he played, but
yes,
now he's kind of making it look like, he had his wake-up call, and he's getting back to where he should be.
They dropped 29 on a pretty good Houston defense.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's that could be really, interesting to see. Now, I said, outside of when I saw Cleveland Baltimore playing, I was like, no, I'm going to pick them because Jacksonville kind of proved themselves already that they can play some ball. Cleveland, is this a fluke that they did against Pittsburgh? Right. I can see them going in to actually beat Baltimore in Baltimore because Baltimore is a good team, but Cleveland is a team that could punch them in the mouth and they may not know how to react.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I mean, that's it for me. For as far as all the topics goes, I think I don't have anything else that I want to address. Anything you got on your mind?
Yeah, just anybody who's willing to vote, put in the comment section what team you think I should use for my GM this year in 2K18, and I'll be sure to.
You know what? Why don't you? I would do you one better. Put it on your Twitter. Make a poll.
Yeah, I am going to make a poll on my Twitter, yeah, but they can also feel free to comment in the comment section and let me know.
Oh, man, hell, do both. Why not?
Right.
Do both. Because I already got mine set up. I mean, it's obviously whoever I pick, the game that I play, I'm playing with the Chicago Bulls. That's just my team. And the fact that they're not that good this year, it's an excellent team to play the franchise with or dynasty with because I have a lot of work to do. So
yeah, I'm leaning towards Boston for obvious reasons. I'm from here. I'm a fan. I like Miami. They're obviously my team outside of my home team, but I mean,
I'm going to turn Zach LaVine into the next Jordan.
You must be doing that shit on live. Because on 2K, I don't know how 2K is going to react to that.
Man, they're not having it, huh?
Nah, 2K's not having it.
Like I said, my first game I played against Washington, him and not Chris Dunn, but Meritic both Meritic had 22, Zach LaVine had 23, and Chris Dunn he had 14 and 13 as far as 14 points and 13 assists. So I got something going here, And even with Lopez had a double. He had 10 and 10. So I got something going, but I lost, but there's something to build on. So
you want to give your thoughts about the about EA Access real quick?
No, I mean everything that you heard about the first impressions of NBA Live, it still stands. I
think it's a bit better.
A
bit smoother.
I can't say I disagree with you because to me I just felt that it was a good game already. It does feel a little bit smoother. Now, mind you, it may be a little distorted because when I played live for the most part on a demo, I played with the baseline camera. When I played Dynasty, I strictly played with broadcast, and with that, it could feel a little different as far as the smoothness goes because I don't get that same perspective. But I do feel that the game does play a little bit better, but I don't have anything negative to say at the same time. I think the game is a fantastic game, and for $40, you're not going to lose if you decide to pick that game. But I do understand, like I said from the beginning of the podcast, I understand why people will go with 2K. I think at the end of the day, and we're both going to have we're going to do our review of 2K, but an early comparison, if you're a guy that likes to play offline, you want to build a dynasty, and you feel that you don't want to worry about crazy patches that may ruin the game, live is your game,
Yep.
But if you want the entire package, the full package of a basketball experience, and you think you can tiptoe around the patches and you don't mind paying $20 extra because it's the full package, 2K is your game. But like I said, once that game is finally released, we will definitely do a review of 2K18, and the following week we will do a full-fledged comparison of the two. So I don't have anything else to add. If I was to add anything, I just want people to continue to support and actually come through and give us feedback, even in the comment section. Absolutely. Or to us on Twitter. You know, the Twitter handles will be down in the description, and I'm actually working on trying to get this podcast to SoundCloud and possibly iTunes as well, so you don't have to just rely on burning up a lot of data on your phone to listen to us. You can just download us on your phone or your tablet, or you know, even if you're still using the click wheel iPod, you can just put it on there. You know, so shout out to the people who may still use a Zune. I doubt it, but that might be before your time, Bills. I mean, you don't know nothing about the Zune, but
I've heard about it.
Yeah, Google it. It's a poor man's Microsoft version of the iPod, but it had promise. Just Google it one day, you'll probably bust out laughing. But if you're still using those devices, I mean, we're trying to branch off into, you know, you can just sit at your office and, you know, you can listen to it while you're doing, you know, paperwork in your cubicle, or if you're driving around like I do. I drive trucks and I love to listen to podcasts or whatever. You know, you can do that or whatever. So that's the direction we're going in. Yep. We will keep you updated on that. I'm good. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Anything else you got to say, Bills?
Oh, that's it, man. I just echo everything you're saying. Just keep showing support, and we'll continue to bring out this content.
Oh, absolutely. No, hope you guys enjoyed. You guys take care. Peace.
Peace.